guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I trim my hair at home. So if you haven't seen my previous video when I showed you my wash day routine, go ahead and check that one out. In today's video I'm going to show you how I trim my hair. So the last time I trimmed my hair was about December, so I want to say maybe 5 months ago, and I'm well overdue for a trim. So before I go into the trim, I want to show you guys what my hair is currently looking like and why I feel like it needs a trim. So if I just grab part of my hair here and kind of like look on my ends, you can see there are a lot of my ends that's kind of like it just going in loads of different direction, and it definitely look like it's splitting. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just trim that part off, and I like do like a little bit of dusting all the way around. I always like to make sure I trim my hair, because if you leave the split ends there, what's going to happen is the hair is pretty much going to continue to split, and it's going to split just all the way up, which eventually you probably have to cut majority of your hair off, and we don't want to do that. So if we do a little bit of dusting every 3 to 4 months, then that will prevent any further damage from happening. So that's what I like to do, and that is how I know that my hair needs trimming. Also, it doesn't feel free flowing like it normally do when I do get a trim. So when it feels a little bit weighed down, a little bit dead, I'm like, yeah, my ends are weighing my hair down. Definitely need to sort them out so it can flow a little bit better. Some of the other signs that you want to look out for to determine if you need a trim are excessive shedding and breakage. If you just notice that your ends are just visibly thin, it's also been more than 3 to 4 months since your last trim, definitely use this as a sign to go ahead and get your next trim. So now that I've walked you through why I think my hair need a trim, I'm going to show you the tools that I'm going to be using to complete this process. I'm going to use some of these clips for the sectioning of my hair. I like working in sections because it makes it easier to see the ends, and it also makes it easier throughout the whole process. And what I don't want is for my hair to be choppy, because I decided to work in chunks rather than section it and doing it properly. Also, my hair, some parts of your hair is different length, so you might be cutting some part while you're not really getting the other part if you don't really do it in sections. So I'm going to be using these 2 combs here. One is a wide tooth comb for detangling. To be fair, my hair is pretty much detangled, so I don't really need this, but I have it on deck anyway just in case I do. And then I have like a smaller tooth comb, and this is pretty much going to help me to smooth out each section to make sure that I'm really getting the ends that I need to cut. And last but not least, I'm using a pair of sharp hair scissors. You don't want to be using your kitchen scissors, because that's just going to cause more harm than good, and you definitely don't want to be using that in your hair. Okay, so grab yourself a pair of fresh scissors. I got mine from Amazon. I'm going to leave it linked down below. So now that I've showed you the tools that I'm going to use, I'm going to go ahead and section my hair in 4 sections, and I'm going to start working in those sections to trim my hair. Also, I'm working on blow dried hair. You can work on press hair if you want to, but I prefer to do this rather than working on, say, curly or coily hair, because I just get to see the ends a little bit better. So I'm working on blow dried hair today. So I've part my hair into 2, and then I'm just gonna part over this side here. I'm going to pretty much section the rest of my head.
We just keep on walking, but never really getting nowhere. It's like we keep on talking, but never. So my hair is parted into 4 sections, so it's easier for me to work with. What I'm going to do is I'm going to part each 4 sections into smaller sections, and then I'm going to do basically a little bit of analysis with my hair before I go ahead and trim it. What I mean by that is I'm gonna use my finger, part a little section of my hair like this. I'm going to have a look on my ends just to kind of like view what that looks like. Can you guys see that? All of that need to come off. I'll say maybe like 1 inch or 2 need to come off of my hair. So I'm gonna take off that much. I'm not going to be shy with this as well. I'm just gonna cut it off because it's gonna help it to grow back even quicker. But if the ends are weighing my hair down, there's no way this is going to grow. It's just going to keep splitting up. So don't be shy when you're doing this. Just cut it off, babe. Perfect. And we cut off that much. I don't know if you can see. Around that much. I feel like, look at those ends. those definitely needed to go. They were going in all sorts of direction, they were split, and even though it's a lot of hair, I'll say this is probably like 3 inches, I want to say. Would you say 3 inches? About 2-3 inches. But it just needed to go, and this is what the ends are looking like now. Like, look at that. It feels so much better. I can rub my hand through it without any lumps and bumps and anything snagging. It just feels healthier already just by doing that. So I'm going to pretty much work through the rest of my hair, and I'm going to follow the same steps throughout.
What could he do for me? I told him that my love is free, but can you match me?
So I have about 2 more sections left, and while I'm doing my hair, I'm just looking through each section and saying, oh damn, I have a lot of like split ends, but when I'm cutting them off, like, it's looking so much better and my hair just feel lighter. It is feeling a lot healthier. So a trim is definitely what was needed. I had protective styling in for quite some time now, so like braids, and I've been doing mini twists, and I can't remember what else I have, probably braids again. Oh, I did sewing for some time back in January as well, so I did have a lot of protective styling in, and I didn't trim my hair up until like the 3-month mark. Like I said, I've done this back in December. Now we're now in May, so it's a bit of a while I haven't trimmed my hair, so I can definitely see the repercussions of that because the split ends, babe, are a little bit crazy. What I'm doing now is I'm taking each sections and I'm going to do like a 45-degree angle with my finger just to bring it this way so I can see it, and then I'm gonna do a little bit of trim again. Finished doing my trim and my hair looks and feel a lot better now. That is pretty much what I do in terms of my at-home trim routine. This is what I like to do. I'm not a professional, but this is what works for me, and I've been trimming my hair at home for a while now. I'm not a professional, so I just do what works for me. I'd recommend you do go ahead and do your own research before you do this, or if you're not too confident, then go and get a professional to give yourself a trim. But make sure you get your hair trim often, because girl, it's just better to trim the hair than keep those split ends. Like, it just doesn't look good and it doesn't do anything for the health of your hair. I'm going to be silk pressing my hair, so I'm going to show you guys how I do that in the next video. So if you'd like to see how I do that at home as well, please be sure to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what type of hair video you want to see next, or just what type of video in general you'd like to see next. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll be sure to see you in the next one. Bye!